All right, what's up everybody? So today we are here to talk about how I built this watch. So this watch is from a company called TheMod. You might hear me reference it as mod watches in my other parts of this video a couple times, at least especially in the build video. Their Instagram handle is TheMod Watches. So I got my words a little twisted. But aside from that, the company is actually called TheMod. They were kind enough to send this watch over to me, or should I say the watch kit. So this is a kit watch. It comes totally in pieces. The bezel is not attached. The dial is not attached. The hands are not attached. Nothing is attached, so you have to build it from scratch, and you really learn how watchmaking works. They send it with this toolkit, so you get everything you need with the watch to actually go ahead and build this. You know, I don't necessarily know what all the watches or what all the parts in this do. You don't need every single one of them for the watch build that I did. I did reach out to Simon. I had a couple questions after I built it, and I'll scatter the answers in throughout these. But one of the recommendations I made for him was that it might be helpful to put in what all of these do. So, you know, like I have a watch from my grandfather that is a pocket watch, and I don't necessarily know how to fix watches, but now I've built one, and I might have a little bit of confidence to tinker or take it apart and mess with springs or whatever. If some of these tools could help me do that, or like the loop that comes with this could help me see something that maybe I couldn't see with my naked eye, would be really helpful. So he is going to put a list together and add it to the instructions that he puts up that shows you what each one of these does. So I want to go through the build process a little bit. I did record a lot of this talking head stuff when I was building the watch, but unfortunately my camera died, my files got corrupted, and I lost like an hour and a half of footage from one angle. So I still have the build video. So I'm going to put bits and pieces up of that as we talk about this process so that you can see the process that I took and go along with that. So as well, in this box is all the extra parts that I have with this watch. What's really cool is this watch comes with all kinds of parts. So I consolidated everything a little bit. It comes with 3 bands. I like the stainless band myself, or steel, whatever they call it on their website. It's stainless steel, obviously. I think I like the vibe of it with the watch, but it also comes with a leather watch and a nylon strap, or I'm sorry, a rubber strap, not a nylon strap. This is a dive watch. It's got a Seiko movement in it. And then it also comes with extra bezels, which you can switch out. I verified with Simon that you could change these bezels out, because during the build process, and I'll reference this clip back later, you kind of peel this little protective film off and glue the bezel in. And I said, hey, if you're getting these extra bezels, what if you want to switch it out? He said there is a way. I'm going to insert his voice clip later on so that you can hear it from the man himself that designed all of this on how to replace that. But it is definitely possible to replace the bezels. And it comes with an extra watch face. So I chose the skeletonized model. I have the black skeleton in here now, but it came with like a dark navy blue one that also looks really, really good. So they are all definitely possible. I think switching out the bezel seems less involved than switching out the watch face, because you'd have to totally deconstruct this watch and put it back together. But it is nice that you get options. Also, you know what kind of movement's in this, you know what kind of case. If you're doing a different watch build, or you're doing, upgrading a watch that you have or anything, you'll have extra parts. There's even an extra set of hands in here. They send it with it in case, you know, you mess it up a little bit. But you have an extra set of hands. If you have a watch you don't like the hands on, you like these ones more, you could probably switch them out. So let's go step by step through the build process. The kit itself comes with this little card. And on this card, it says your video guide. So it's got a little note from Simon, who is the founder of TheMod. And you literally just scan this, boom. It pulls up, and we'll go through some of the steps. So the first step is dial prep and customization. One thing that's really important, they include finger condoms with this, those little silly finger condoms. On his notes, it is very important to wear them because on the face of the watch, if you get the grease from your fingers on them, say you never want to take this watch apart again and switch it out, that grease on your fingers can corrode the watch face, and then you will never get that out. So you're kind of stuck with it. So wear the little finger condoms, be careful. It comes with a little polishing cloth. If you see anything, you can wipe as you go, or a little microfiber cloth, if you will. Honestly, this was one of the easier steps. You get your movement out, you put it on the little pillow thing that comes with this. It's this little round cushion for building on. And you have to break these little pins off. One comment I would say is if you have fingernails, don't cut them before you build your watch. Those fingernails will be really easy, or I suppose you could use the screwdriver, but I was trying really hard not to scratch or bend anything. They're just these little microscopic pins that hopefully you can see somewhere down here that you just bend back and forth, they snap off clean. In the video, his watch only had 4 pins, mine had 6. Just line up the pins with the video, snap them off, and clean break. And once you do that, you'll be able to just line the dial up with the movement. There's 2 little pinholes that are very visible on the movement, and the dial just slides in. You don't need that much pressure, just a tiny bit of pressure is enough to get it in there. Easy step. Once you do that, well, I guess that was step 1 and 2. I'm ahead of myself. But those 2 steps, very, very easy. Now, I think the hardest step is step 3 of this process, and it's installing the hands. He includes that on his video, and he says this is the hardest step. He includes this like sticky tack with it that he says to use to install the hands. And then you'll see him do it with the tweezers, or the little forceps, whatever you want to call them. He has done this a lot of times. What I would say is if you are on this step and you start to get frustrated, so the hour hand went on very easily. The minute hand, slightly harder, but still overall very easy. The second hand was the bane of my existence. And let me explain. So I started building my watch at, I don't know, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. I was tired, my eyes were tired, and I was over caffeinated. I had been drinking caffeine all day. I don't know if you know this, but caffeine causes your hands to shake. And you're probably thinking, oh, I drink coffee all day, my hands don't shake. Traditionally, no. Under magnification, yes. So, in my day job, I work in surgery, and a lot of the doctors will not drink caffeine before they do microsurgery because it causes the tremors, like these little microscopic jitters that if you're just looking at your hand right now, you're like, oh, my hand's not shaking. When you are trying to install a second hand of a watch that is a 0.5 millimeter post and a 3/4 millimeter tube that sits over that 0.5 millimeter post with a 3x magnification loop, you will think you're doing it in an earthquake. So my recommendations for this step, and this does not detract from this process at all. This was so much fun. My recommendation would be to do this either earlier in the day or on a weekend when you're fresh and you have not had a lot of caffeine yet. I don't think 1 cup of coffee is going to hurt you, but if you're like me, you drink energy drinks at all times, I probably wouldn't recommend trying to install the second hand like right after you crushed an energy drink. It's not going to translate into functional building. The other thing that I think is very important for this step is if you start to get frustrated, set it down, walk away, take 15 minutes, cool off. You do not want to screw this step up. So I'll put a picture right here that shows where the pin is in contrast to the other ones. The pin that you have to get the second hand on is so small. And if you break it, it will destroy the movement. I'm not saying that to scare you or detract you from this experience at all. I think it is well worth it, but that is the truth. So you need to go into this part of the build with a calm head and do it just gently and focused. And then after that, easy peasy. So honestly, installing the hands on this were the hardest part of this build. After that, easy, and it's just a lot of fun. So the next step is crown and stem management. That is where you will pull out. It comes with a blue plastic stem in it. Another thing to note is that when you are building your watch, I didn't realize this, and especially before hand placement, this is something to remember. Make sure that stem is pulled out, not like removed, but if you're familiar with watches at all, you pull your stem out to adjust the timing, and then you push it back in to start the movement again. If that stem is out and the movement is running, which me building the skeleton makes it really easy because you can see the movement ticking, make sure that is in, because that can mess with you, or I'm sorry, make sure that's pulled out, because that can mess with you when you're trying to put the hands on, because theoretically, if that movement is ticking, those posts are running, and you don't want to be applying pressure to them while they're moving because you could damage the movement. So make sure that's pulled out. Crown and stem management, you're going to pull that blue plastic one out. You're going to set your movement into you're going to set it into the case, and then you're going to put the new stem back in, always step by step. Now he's very good at mentioning this. Kind of every step of the way, you just want to turn that stem and make sure everything's still moving appropriately. But yeah, that one's fun. Once you get it in and you push that stem in, you should see your movement start to move and your second hand will start to spin. And it's a very rewarding feeling because then you're almost at the finish line. Next one, you are installing it into the case. Like, again, kind of blended those two together. You're dropping it into the case, putting the back on, which this one comes with the exhibition back, which is that clear back, so you can see the automatic movement. Again, you can see the little plate on the back that spins with your movement, which helps keep it wound. If you're new to automatic watches, if you don't wear them, they die. So they're not like electronic watches that you recharge. These things move and charge with the movement of your body. That's why you see a lot of people that get into luxury watches have something called watch winders. They're a box that make the watch just kind of do this all the time in their case. So it's like a display case, but it does this because this movement will keep that little disc rotating in the back and charge the watch. what it's really doing is winding the spring. And so if you're just, you take this watch off and you lay it on your counter or your dresser, over time that spring uncoils. And my watch, I've had it for a couple weeks now, and a couple times I took it off for 2 days, and then going out to dinner with the wife or the family, and I switched to my nice watch, which is this one now. I love this thing, it looks great. But put it on and I'm like, oh crap, the watch is dead. Pull it out, readjust it to the time, hit that button back in, and with your movement it'll start right back up and you're good to go. But don't be worried if it's running and then after 2 or 3 days you're like, oh cool, I'm going to put this watch on, and you switch it out and it stops. If you're new to automatic watches, that is normal. It's good for the spring. It's just the spring relaxing itself, and with no movement that happens. Wind it up, start moving, it'll go right back to what it was doing. Bezel selection. Now, this is where I'll clip in that video or a voice message from Simon. So the bezel is this ring right here. And it comes with, each kit comes with a couple bezels. So I like the silver one. It is the most classic look. It comes with a black bezel, and it comes with a blue bezel, which, so, this was my question. If I'm going out and, I wanted to match it to my flannel or something, could I slap on the blue bezel? It is not quite as easy as just quick change. You don't want to just take a tool and dig it in there and try to pop it out. It is possible, but that puts you at risk of damaging your watch. I don't recommend that. So let me throw in right here how he explains to do it. We'll come back in a minute.
Yes, to change the bezel, you need to pop out the crystal when the movement is out. So when the case is empty, and then you can press out the crystal from the inside, and then you can basically loosen the bezel by using a screwdriver, for example, to slowly go under it. And well, in most cases, you can use the glue that's still on there to glue in another bezel. If you change it more than once or twice, then it'll not stick very well anymore, and then you need to clean the glue and use new glue tape basically. But every bezel has glue tape, comes with extra glue tape, and so you can definitely change them a few times, and after that, if anyone needs it, we can always send more glue as well. So yes, you need to re-glue them, but it's pretty easy.
Okay, so you can switch it out. Check out their watches. Every different watch comes with different bezel selections. The kit that I got has the silver, the blue, and the black. He has some green ones. There's some multicolored ones. They're all beautiful, but that's one of the statement pieces of this watch. The watch face and the bezel, I think, are the real pop factors of these. So I would heavily suggest looking at those in depth before you pick which kit you want, because while it is possible, it's not the easiest thing to switch out the bezel. So do with that what you will. Last thing is installing the strap. So this strap, it's really hard to show on video how you put these in. Essentially, in this strap, near where the watch connects up here, so up at the hub of the case, it has these little quick connect pins, which work really similarly to the old-fashioned toilet paper holders. I know it's a silly comparison, but you push it in, and it's a spring tension rod. So you fit it in here, put one side in, spring tension it in, it pops in the other hole, locks it in place. The band is the easiest thing on this that you want to change. So, if I'm going out to a nice dinner or whatever, I might want this on, the stainless band. Now, this is a dive watch. I believe it's IP67 rated waterproof. It's one of the important steps of when you're rebuilding this, make sure that gasket is set, because it should be waterproof. There's a gasket on here as well, on your stem. So it is supposed to be totally waterproof. I just don't go swimming with my nice watches, but like if you're caught in the rain or whatever, it'll be fine. But it comes with that leather band and the rubber band. I think like if I'm going golfing, or if you're wearing a watch like this more frequently golfing or whatever, or if it's just your vibe, you could switch out the band from the stainless to the leather very easily. Just an easy step to customize it on the fly, and instead of having multiple watches, you can just, oh yeah, cool, this is, I want leather today, 10 minutes, pop, new band on, you're good to go. Saves you from having to buy a whole separate watch if you're like, I want one really nice watch that I'm comfortable with that I wear every day. This absolutely can be that, and you can change the style as you wish. The other thing I did include in my response to Simon when I talked to him was how to change the strap length. So stainless straps, unlike a leather strap, it doesn't have multiple holes. It's got this like locking mechanism. I don't know what it's called, but it flips over and it clips to tighten up, but it expands real wide to let your hand in. There wasn't in the tutorial a how to adjust of this chain. It is really, really easy. I don't think most people would need a tutorial, but I said, hey, it might not be a bad idea to throw it. All you need to know is that using the screwdriver that comes in your toolkit, there are little tiny flathead screws in the links right here. You just back that screw out from one side and the other side, take one of those screws, pull the links together, put it back in. Now, one point there is, as you can see, the watch is symmetrical on both sides. So I took an even number of links out of one side as the other. If you are like, man, I need to take 3 links out of this, and you take all 3 out of one side, you are going to shorten it drastically on one side, and it's going to be really long on the other, so the watch won't quite sit right. So I would recommend taking a link out of each side. If you're gonna, like, if you have to take 2 links out, if you just have to take 1 out, it shouldn't be a big deal. If you have to take 2 or 3, I would just alternate back and forth which side you're going to take out. If you got to take all of them out because you have a small wrist, do both sides. Just don't take them all out of one side. Overall, my final thoughts on this project are that this was awesome. I really like watches. You know, luxury watches can be in the thousands of dollars. This kit is not nearly that much. I will throw up right here-ish how much this particular kit costs. It's not cheap. This is not a $20 watch that you get at Walmart or whatever. This is a very nice, high-quality wristwatch. It's a Japanese Seiko movement. I believe on the website, these are German-made parts. If I'm wrong, I'll throw it up over here somewhere too. But I believe they're made in Germany. They are really, really nice watch parts. This was a great kit, and it lit a spark. You know, this is something I want to do again. I just built this watch, and I haven't even been able to wear it as much as I want to. I just don't wear the watches as much as I should at work. But it was so much fun. I want to build another one. It's challenging, but not too bad. And I think that this is a hobby that, if you like to tinker, it's adult Legos. Everything is small. All the pieces are small. You know, the watch people that are really snooty. Sorry if you're a snooty watch person. If you're a snooty watch person, you're probably not buying this anyway. You should, but you probably won't. You would say, oh, well, it takes years and years to master the art of watchmaking, and oh, well, you're just gonna screw it up, and it's not going to be the same accuracy as a $25,000 Rolex and da-da-da-da-da. Put all that aside. This is an awesome watch kit. If you are just a regular person who likes watches and likes to tinker or do something with your hands, this is an awesome project for you that brings out a whole new world of possibilities. You know, one of the ways I found this was I was in Texas talking to my one buddy who, he's a big watch guy, you know, and he got an Omega at a thrift store that was busted. And he's like, oh, maybe I could try to fix it myself. I don't know much about that. The quote on fixing it was a ton of money. And we just started talking about watches to do. I wonder if you could just build your own watch. So I looked it up online and I found TheMod. So it is an awesome, awesome product. It is a project I never thought I would be able to take on until I found their kits. You know, I reached out to them, Simon sent me the kit over, and it was so much easier than I thought. And now I have an awesome watch that is a great conversation starter. And, you know, so, oh, I love your watch. Where'd you get it? Oh, well, I built it and I got it from TheMod. So go check them out. The link is in the description down below. Yeah, that's it. If you buy a watch from them, I don't get commission or anything like that. They just sent it to me. He didn't give me any particular points that I had to say. He just wanted my honest feedback about the kit and how it went. And I loved it. I genuinely loved it. And I hope you guys do too, if you go out and build one of these watches. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And if there's anything you'd like to see, have any questions about this product, shoot me a comment down below. I'll get back to you. And if it's not an answer I know, I'll reach out to Simon and try to get an answer for you that way. Thanks a lot. See you in the next one.